to share screen, yeah, Miss Indah.
Okay, wait for a second. Okay, you can try, Pak Tora.
Okay, Miss, I will try. Yes. Is it okay in your screen, Miss?
Yes, we can see it, Pak.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the time. Okay. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Tora Fahrudin. You can call me Tora, Mr. Tora. Actually, I come from Accounting Information System from School of Applied Science, Telkom University. And today I will give some material about imbalance class. Okay. If the student want to ask about question, it's okay to interrupt my presentation, ya. You can interrupt and you can ask Miss Indah, maybe you can help me to open mic, ya, microphone for the student who want to ask something. Okay, this is our agenda. We have 4 agenda. The first definition about what is imbalance class, and then how to evaluate the imbalance class, imbalance cases, and what is the solution for or to tackle the imbalance problem. And lastly, we go to Kaggle, yeah. We go to Kaggle to see what is implementation, implementation of imbalance class in real world, yeah. Okay. From figure, we can see that in the left side, iris data. We can see that the distribution of 3 classes is in balance, in balance mode. For the species Iris virginica, there are 50 data. Iris setosa also 50 data, and lastly Iris versicolor also 50 data. This is, I think, no problem. There is no issue for on the left side. But how about this fraud data? From the fraud data, we can see that the fraud data is lower than the normal transaction or no fraud. Nah, this is called imbalance, ya, imbalance class. So, where is the problem? From the picture before, ya, where is the problem? Usually, yeah, the problem came if we want to put some classification model, the accuracy is not represent the actual, yeah, the actual accuracy for its classes. So usually the imbalance is case when the amount of data between 2 or more different classes, yeah, 2 or more, yeah. I mean that's the class is not just binary, but also maybe multi-classes, multi-class imbalance data. One class represent a very large amount of data, which usually we call it a majority class, while the other represent the minority data, where a very small amount of data. We can summary, yeah, summary. Maybe I think it is 5 problem that we have to tackle, where when we we conduct a classification in imbalance class. The first, I think it is all generally the all machine learning. It will ignore the occurrence of the data from minor classes. This just ignore them. Why? Because the frequency of the data that needed to build the model is not enough. So due to the amount of the data is lack, machine learning ignore them, and it make the model is cannot actually cannot take the rule of the minority class. Second, the accuracy models accuracy in minority class tends to not to be good. Actually, the accuracy, overall accuracy is usually high, but the evaluation of the specific accuracy, I mean the minority class, is poor. Okay, the third, accuracy classifier to predict minority class more important. Due to the amount of the data is not enough, so the machine learning ignore them. But we want the machine learning must get the best accuracy in minority class. Nah, that's contradiction. That's contradiction. So that is the main problem in imbalance classes. In fraud detection or rare disease, rare disease classification, detection oil spill at the sea, student academic failure, and so on. Number 4. If you want to increase the accuracy, why not to adding the minority data and adding the data again? Actually, to add the original data from minority data is not easy. It's not easy and require great effort. We can imagine that the rare disease data, it is very difficult to get the data due to the frequent of the people who get the rare disease is very small. Might be 1%, 2%, until maybe 10%. To get the more data, it is difficult. Okay, and lastly, if we use the accuracy, overall accuracy, it doesn't represent the actual accuracy for each class. So the measurement of model performance using overall accuracy is not suitable. We have to take another metric, another metric for evaluate the imbalance class model. Okay, this is the some cases in imbalance class. The first is fraud detection, claim prediction, default prediction, spam, anomaly, outlier, intrusion, conversion. In the end of the today's material, we will explore about chance prediction. Chance prediction from Kaggle. Okay, we are in the second section. How to evaluate the imbalance? Okay, we can see in the left side figure, there are two classes, no fraud and fraud. And we can see that the number data in fraud classes is smaller, smaller than no fraud. Okay, imagine that the the machine learning gitu ya, the machine learning apa guess all of the data is being no fraud ya. Machine learning guess the all of the data to be no fraud data. How many accuracy we can achieve? Okay, no fraud ya, no fraud. If the machine learning predict the data is no fraud data, it is maybe achieve 99.9%, 99.9% accuracy. 99.8 ya, 80%. Actually, we just only the positive fraud, it's zero. The accuracy of positive fraud is zero. Now, in this case, we see that we only have a two positive data, the other 998 data is being no fraud. If we just guess all of the data being negative, it's almost as if 99% the accuracy, but it doesn't represent the actual model that we want to get it. Okay, so we need to get a more precise evaluation metric ya, to handle those imbalance problem. Overall accuracy, it doesn't represent the actual accuracy for each classes. So we have to look at the detail for one class, their precision and then their recall. This is a metric that look the deeper of the metric in one classes. Okay, F measure it is F measure is harmonic the harmonize between precision and recall. B here beta, this B here is what is the metric that we want to give more pressing is if is the precision or a recall. For normally the P is 1 it's mean that the precision and recall is, we think that it is in the same weight same weight. How about beta? We set the beta value for 2. If we set the beta value for 2, wake recall, we want to recall is higher. We want that the accuracy in recall is more important, higher than the accuracy of precision. And if we set to 0.5, wake recall is lower than precision. It is the vice versa. Okay, this is the cases number 1. We have the confusion metric. This is the actual classes, and this is the predicted class. Usually, for the minority class is denoted as positive class. Denoted as positive class. The negative usually represent the majority class. But we can change the order. It doesn't problem. That's not a problem. Okay, assume in this confusion metric, the positive is for the positive who want to fraud. Negative is for the negative float. We can see that the accuracy of this confusion metric is very high, yeah, 99.9%. 99.9%. Where the number is came from? 1998 plus 1, yeah, plus 1. I want to use some pointer. 998 plus 1 divided 998 plus 1 plus 1 plus 0. So the accuracy is 99.9%. But actually, if we see the data, yes, they are 50%, yeah, 50% of actually positive class is predicted in the right way. Predicted in the right way is only 50%. The rest, yeah, the 50% is misclassified. Yeah? The 50% is misclassified. How about precision? Yeah, precision of positive class. The precision is fraction of a prediction, yeah, prediction fraction. So we only focus on how many from the predicted number that's get the accurate, get the right classes. Yeah. Different from recall, yeah. If a recall is we look at the actual number as the basis for the formula, yeah. How many correct number, yeah, percentage in the correct classifying data compared to all of the positive data. Okay. Precision compared to all the predicted positive data, but recall if compared to actual positive data. So in here we can see that the precision is getting 100%, yeah, for the class plus, yeah, class positive. 1 divided 1 plus 0. For the recall, 1 divided 1 plus 1. So it is get the 50%. How about F measure? F measure of the positive class. We just calculate from recall and precision based on the formula, yeah, in the slide before. We get about 66, yeah, 66.67%. Okay, I think it is more accurate, yeah, more accurate than we took that the model getting 99%. It doesn't represent the minority class well, yeah. Okay. How about this? How about this? It is the ideal model, ideal model, which we can see that for negative, and the first accuracy is 100%, yeah. If we compare that before, and it is different a little, yeah, a little different. But for the minority class, it is the model can predict the 100% of those cases of minority class. We can see precision 2 divided 2 plus 0, 100%, and recall 2 divided 2 plus 0. It is 100%. If precision 100, or recall 100, F measure for positive class also 100. Yeah. Okay, this is the ideal class that we want to achieve. Nah, how about this? How about this case? For positive, yeah, class positive, it is all the actual class is correct, yeah, correct. Classified by the model, yeah, classified by the model. but we can see that there are lots of data that misclassify. Yeah, there are negative classes, but predict as a positive class. So we can see that the accuracy is getting lower. Okay. How about the precision? Precision. This is a very small, yeah, because they are 2 divided 90x plus 2, yeah. They are only 2%. Recall, yeah. Actually, the recall is higher, yeah. Is high, yeah. Because all of the actual is classified correctly as a positive. Okay, we can see that the 100. So how about the F measure? No. Huh? Okay, this is precision to only 2%. Recall is very high, yeah, 100%. But the miss F measure we can see in here, it is a small, yeah, 3.92%. So from third case, yeah, from 3 cases, we can conclude that the precision recall F measure, I think it is can represent the actual, yeah, the goodness of the model, how well the model is built. Yeah. Actually, from the minority, yeah, minority class, yeah. Okay. Is there any question? You can interrupt me. Another evaluation we can um, apa ya? This is a leaf curve, ya. We have this is a curve, and then it uh, is mentioned as leaf curve. How to read this curve? Okay, the first the linear one, yeah, the linear line. This it is a represent random casing, yeah. Random casing means that we don't use a model, yeah, we don't use a model, but only random casing, yeah. There are data, churn data, yeah. We only guess, oh, this is churn, oh, this is no churn. This is the baseline, yeah. Random casing. Yeah, probability of random casing is, yeah, 50-50, yeah. Might be true or might be might be wrong, yeah. Might be true or might be wrong. For A line and B line, yeah. This is using the model. This is using model. This is using machine learning. Yeah. Uh, uh, where is the good A or B? Where is the good one? A or B? Anybody knows? If we see if we get the leaf curve like this. Okay, A. Tok Yupin. Thank you for your answer. Brilliant Adiaksa. A. Yes. Why? Why A is more accurate, ya, more accurate than B. Why? Anybody knows? Why? A is more accurate than B, ya. Oh, okay. Cause the A line is higher than B. Oh, okay, Hanif Ayundia, thank you, ya, for the answer. Okay, I can explain this. In baseline, yeah, we can see that there are two axis, ya, two axis, a y axis and apa? X and y axis, ya, X and y axis. X represent the population. Usually this leaf curve is used in marketing, ya, marketing. Whereas marketing is given might be apa ya, fun, ya, fun for market ya, for get marketing fund. 10% it's mean that the company give only give 10% of fund ya, 10% of fund of population that can apa ya, must be contact by marketer. Marketer only have 10% funding ya, funding of actually 100% of customer, he only given only 10% cost ya, 10% fund. The higher line, it's mean that okay, we get the 10% ya. In 10% ya, if we apa line we in the line ke atas ya, upper ya, we take the line upper, we get in B ya, in B model we only get the 36% target ya. Target it's mean that the customer will that actually get churn ya, actually want to churn. Only 36 ya. For the 10% we apa the marketing give maybe give apa ya, a discount or something that can apa ya, can make the customer back to our company or no churn gitu ya. Only 36. But if we see in the model A model, we actually getting higher ya, higher population, higher target. Maybe it's about more than 50 ya, maybe 60, maybe ya, 60% ya. In the same population, in the same fund that company give to marketing to contact the customer who want to churn ya, actually want to churn. For the B model, it is only can achieve 36, but in A model, it can achieve 60 ya, 60, about 60% for all customer that want to churn is being contacted gitu ya. So in here we can conclude that the A model ya is apa more better ya, better than B model. This is a leaf curve ya. Okay. Another curve, I think. Nah, this is ROC ya, ROC. It is the same, I think. This is for y-axis is true positive rate, and then x-axis is false positive rate. If the line is getting higher in the first, firstly false positive rate, it is getting a higher. AUC is the luas itu apa ya? The how many how many area that under curve ya, under curve how many area. Nah, A and B is apa ya, bigger ya, area A is bigger than B area ya. If we can see this, B area is only this is line and under area, but in A it is bigger ya, bigger area. So A is better than B. In ROC it is the same ya. Okay. Nah, terus how the solution for the imbalance class? We have three concept or three method ya. the data level, algorithm, and ensemble-based approach. For the data level, what is data level? Data level is the simple definition of data level is by this, this definition. The method want to change the training data distribution. Actually, this is original training data, and it it is modified by data level solution, being this one. We can see that the distribution is not the same with the original data. There are three sampling method. First, the undersampling. Undersampling here means that we want to reduce the majority data is become smaller, by using sampling method. So the number of majority data is being decreased, and in the finish, in the finish of those process, the distribution of minority data is same with the majority data. Contra with this undersampling technique, the oversampling technique is another side. We want to sampling this minority data. We want to sampling and sampling and sampling again until the number of original minority data is getting higher, getting bigger, getting larger. And after finish of the process, we get the distribution data is same. Minority data and majority data is same. And the last is hybrid. Hybrid, I think, it is combined between the undersampling technique and oversampling technique. In oversampling, we oversample the minority data, and we also conduct the undersampling of majority data. So in the last of the process of hybrid oversampling, we can see that the data is balanced, but not the same with the actual original data for the two classes. Okay, I introduce namely SMOT. SMOT is stand for synthetic minority oversampling technique. Imagine that it is real data. A here represent the real data of our data. Okay, we in this case chain prediction. We want to explore the chain prediction. This is the real data. In real data, we can see that there are a large number of majority data samples, but a few or small number of minority data. Okay, if we conduct oversampling, by using the original data set, okay, then the frequency is increased. I mean, in the original is only two data. Only two data. Two data that this data is visualized. Imagine that this data we visualize the data in two axes, X and Y. It is only two. Only two frequent. If we conduct oversampling, it's become 10 maybe 10 data. 10 data. But if we visualize the data, after we conduct oversampling technique, the data is the same. The illustration, the visualization of data is same, not different. Gitu. So it's mean the data feature. Data feature is getting adding by more data. in smooth, it is a different. Yeah, we can see that this is original one, original. This is original. But how about blue? How about this blue ones? This blue. It is original or synthetic? Anybody knows? What is the blue represent in here? Maybe anybody knows? Okay, okay. Minority. Okay, Tok Yubin. Thank you. Yeah, I think I means the minority. Yeah, minority. This positive, yeah, it's represent the majority. This minus is represent the minority. Yeah. So you can see that it is minority or majority. This apa? This data is majority or minority? Okay. Send data of minority. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Lim. Lim Yi Sen. Yeah. Yes, this is the synthetic. Yeah. Synthetic data of minority data. Okay, you're correct. So in smooth, they are technique. Yeah, they are technique. Okay, I want to erase all. Smooth is technique to explore what we call feature space. Yeah, feature space. This is the space. The data is being lie in the space. Yeah, in the visualization. Yeah, we for this case it's only two. Yeah, two dimension. Yeah, the data is visualized in 2 dimension, and the smooth is explore it the feature space. How the smooth is on the smooth apa ya make the synthetic data. The concept is, I think this simple ya. For each data he choose the k number ya, k number of his neighborhood ya, by using KNN. You know KNN ya. KNN is he calculate the data by using some distance metric, and after being calculate we get the neighbor ya, the neighbor of the data ya. The first data, the first neighbor is maybe on the 10 data, third data, and so on. Yeah. Okay. After he getting, we get the neighbor. Yeah. This is the neighbor. Okay. In this case, I using k maybe 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. This is the sample data that we want to build the synthetic ones. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So randomly he choose 1 from 3 neighbor. Okay. Nah, this is yeah. After getting 1 random for each attribute, he calculate the what names ya, random ya. He calculate the he make interpolated the data. He interpolated the data by using some formula. So after interpolated the data, the synthetic data is not go away, not go away from the original ones. And the data is like into this line, yeah, into this line. This is the observed minority data. This is the neighbor, yeah, random neighbor that choose by system, and the synthetic data is lie on, yeah, on this line, yeah. On this line, yeah, maybe in here, or maybe in here, or maybe in here, yeah. And so on. And so on. So what's the effect of this this mode, yeah? Because he explored the fitur data, so the model, yeah, the model will get the and the decision border is getting bigger, getting larger. So it can increase the accuracy of minority data is more higher, ya, higher than before. Itu. Compared to if we only add, ya, only add the data without adding synthetic, ya, only duplicate, ya, only duplicate the minority data, the decision is not being larger, ya. So if we usually if we use the smooth, the accuracy of the recall accuracy is getting higher than if we only only duplicate the data, the original data. Okay, I think that's for the smooth, ya. Okay, how about algorithm level? Algorithm level, the data is same, ya. We do not take some processing from the data, but for the algorithm, yeah, we modified, yeah, we modified the algorithm. The principle is this by this, yeah. The classifying a negative case, a positive case is typically for less, ya. Nah, this is the background of the algorithm, ya. If we wrong predict, ya, false, this is actual yes, and then no, ya, this is yes and no. If we if we wrong predict the false negative, ya, actually yes, but we wrong predict that there is no no problem in churn prediction. This is a churn. This is we predict that the customer is not churn, yeah, that customer not churn. Nah, it is very, ya, very ini, ya, we don't want that, ya. We don't want that because it is very dangerous, ya. Imagine that in hospital, ya, in hospital they are people want to get a rare disease, and then the machine, yeah, the machine wrongly predicted that the patient is being fine, yeah, fine. Actually, he is sick, yeah, he is sick. He get the rare disease, but the machine learning is predict him as normal, ya, normal patient. It is very dangerous, yeah, because the patient will not get the medicine, the right medicine, and maybe he can dead, yeah, he can dead. But if but if the machine learning doing the opposite, yeah, he is, yeah, doing the opposite. I mean, the patient is actually is no risk, yeah. There is no, they are normal, yeah. The patient is normal, not get the rare disease, but the machine learning predict him as positive, yeah, as positive being apa ya, get the rare disease. I think it is not not too apa ya, the risk is not high ya, the risk is not high. But if we the model getting misclassified for the rare disease, the actual rare disease, but the model predict no, yeah, it is very, very dangerous. So in this case, we can use the name is cost ya, cost sensitive ya, cost sensitive. We can make the algorithm to take the higher penalty cost, higher penalty cost if the model apa ya, wrong predict the training data. If the model wrong predicting training data, so the system give the more penalty, more cost of penalty. In this we can see that the effect of this setting, the effect of the cost penalty cost setting. If we use the same apa ini namanya, the same cost penalty, this is normal normalnya, this is 1 and 1, is he misclassified in the positive class, he will get the 1 penalty, and also for the minority class it gave 1, but if we setting the cost penalty is higher in the minority data, this is the effect. We can see that before we setting this cost metric, the false negative, the false negative number is 78, but after we setting this cost penalty, the number is getting decreased, getting decreased to 46. So the accuracy of positive class is getting higher, getting higher. We can see that this is getting higher, 454. This is 422. I think that's the effect of the penalty cost setting for algorithm. Ini for one class classifier, we just take a look and consent about one classifying one class, and the rest of those we classified as another class. Another solution is using ensemble, packing or boosting. Okay, this is the illustration of ensemble. We have the original training data, and then from the original training data we can divide it into some partition, into some partition, and then for each partition, so the day 1, D2, until DT, it is a different from the original. Maybe the number of data is same, but actually the data is different. Where is the different? Maybe in day 1, it is sampling method, sampling method from D. Maybe for the second data, the number of the second data is not only 1, but maybe there are 2 or 3, because this sampling without replacement, sampling without replacement. So the second rows might be the sampling is more than 1, maybe 5, 10, and etc. And then classifying by classifier, and then the last is combine, combine into the 1, Why? Because we only get the one prediction, not more than 1, but only one. This is the illustration. Yeah, if we want to solve some problem, we can making decision together. Ya. If in Indonesian it's apa ya, musyawarah ya, musyawarah in Indonesia. In English I don't know ya, maybe some, Mbak Indah mungkin ya. Nah, some like that lah. Nah, if the making decision process is not only one, yeah, not only one making decision, but there are many, yeah, many models, many classifier is making decision together. So the model that contribute to the ensemble might be derived from the same training data set or different. Yeah. Okay. I want to. Now this is the cases ensemble based on ensemble. We have this is the actual data, yeah, the actual data today. Today cloudy, yeah, tomorrow sunny, yeah, and so on, yeah, and so on. This is for the model one, yeah, classifier one. He guessed that from the data that he learned, yeah, that the machine learning learned, he conclude that based on this data, it will be cloudy. Second model, no, it is not cloudy, yeah, it is sunny, yeah. Third model, he predict cloudy, yeah, cloudy. Fourth model cloudy, fifth model cloudy. So what is the result of the prediction of the ensemble? The simplest one is for voting, yeah, by using voting mechanism. Cloudy 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 4 model is predict into cloudy, but only one predict to sunny. So the prediction of the ensemble is cloudy, like that. Okay, how about these ones? Yeah, reality sunny. The first model is cloudy. Yeah, it is wrong predicted by the first model. The second, third, fourth model is correct. Yeah? He predict that tomorrow is sunny, and the fifth model is cloudy. So there are three model predict the tomorrow weather as a sunny. Yeah, it is correct. Yeah, and only two model that's the wrong predict. Yeah, wrong predict. Okay, I think that's the illustration. Nah, there are two, yeah, to mainly to apa ya, to approach the ensemble. Yeah, the first is backing, yeah, and the second is boosting. What is different? We can see that from the illustration. For the backing, it is independent, yeah, between classifier, the first classifier, second and third, it is independent, yeah, independent. The data is sampling independently. But in boosting, yeah, we see that the second model getting data not directly from the main source, but he getting data from the result of the first model prediction by this model, yeah, the first prediction model. From this, he evaluate that where is the original training data that is hard example, hard to be classified. Nah, after he getting those data, yeah, the data that hard to be classified is sampled more, yeah, is sampled more than the data that easy example. I mean that's the easily correctly by the model, by the machine learning, yeah. So in this data there are many hard example that have to be learn more by this this classifier. Ya. After that, evaluate again. Ya, evaluate again. Where is the hard example? Ya. Oh, this is the second row, 5 row, 10 row. The hard example is sampling higher, ya, sampling more, ya, more sampling than the easy example one, until the threshold is achieved, ya, threshold is achieved, and we get the prediction by using voting. But different from this, ya, for bagging the mechanism is not is the same, ya, this weight is the same, but in boosting, ya, maybe this model is getting weight, the more weight, ya, the bigger weight from this. Why? Because the accuracy of second model is higher than the first model, so he will be given by the weighted value, ya, more higher than the another model. Okay. We can, yeah. And this is the last material, ya, about the case study. Yeah. Before I show you the Kaggle, ya, we want to know, ya, what is the Kaggle. Maybe some participant already know, ya. Siapa? Who knows Kaggle, ya? Maybe you can chat or raise hand. Maybe who knows this tool, Kaggle. Oh, nobody knows the Kaggle. Oh. Okay, if nobody, oh ini, okay, yes, I know. Okay, brilliant, Adiaksa. Okay, thank you for the answer, ya. Hanif Ayunda, we use it in data science class with Mr. Reddy. Yeah. Okay, I know that in information system there are courses, ya, ilmu data dasar dan ilmu data lanjut, ya, basic data science and advanced, ya, advanced data science. There's a lot of data set in Kaggle. Yes. Okay. Yes, this is correct, ya. If we want to make an experiment by using data science method, ya, the Kaggle give you more, ya, more the data set. He give more the code, ya, the tutorial code, and also courses, ya. It is for sharing data or trick with other data scientists. Yes, Yopi, Yuda, Febrian. Yes, we can use Kaggle for sharing code or tricks, ya, with other data science. Okay. Okay. We can see that in here, ya, there are competition, ya, and competition menus and data set, courses, ya, courses, data set, and etc. Ya. Okay. Nah, this is if we want to use the Kaggle, firstly we need to sign up, ya. Sign up. After sign up, we sign in and then enter the Kaggle dashboard, ya, Kaggle dashboard. We can click this one, ya, new notebook for make coding, ya, make some code, ya, some code. to use the Python library, to process the data, to put some classification model, and so on. This notebook, it is like the Jupyter, Jupyter notebook, so the user interface is, I think it is very easy, easily and very interesting. Nah, in here we can see that some part of the notebook, this is the name of the notebook that we can change easily, and then this is execution button, the execution button that we can running all or run cell by cell, run cell by cell. If we want to use the data, we need to add, we need to add the data by using this, by using this menu, okay, and we can write the code here in here. Okay, in this case we want to explore about Chen, Chen dataset. Nah, okay, I want to show you, if you are open the Chrome, maybe you can also follow me. You can also follow me. We can in it together, Okay. The material is belum di-share materialnya, Mbak, ya. Oke.
Not yet.
Not yet, ya. Okay. Okay. Maybe I can share the script, Okay, wait a minute, Okay. How can I share, by using share link, share Zoom, in Zoom, download. Nah, okay, I have share, share the notebook. Nah, okay, in this case we want to explore, explore Chen prediction by using telco, telco customer Chen prediction. There are more 21 attributes, 21 attribute. What's the attribute? The attribute is each row here represent a customer, one row it is represent a customer, one customer, one customer, and then in the last of attribute it is the label if the customer is churn or not, in the in the last month, within the last month, if customer churn or not, we can see in the label in here, in churn. Okay, they are service, service that use or that its customer has sent up, customer has sent up. It's include the phone, phone service. Mana ya phone service? Ini phone service. If the customer send up for multi-line, this is the data, No phone service, okay. No phone service and so on, Internet, online security, online backup, device protection, tech support, streaming TV and movie. What the service that being sent up for each customer? We get the data, okay, and then customer account information. How long they have been a customer? In attribute tenure, tenure. This attribute is represent how long the customer is sign up for the service ya, sign up for the service. Oke, kontrak ya, kontrak this month to month or 1 year and so on ya. Oke, paperless billing, monthly charge, total charge ya. This is the for the charge ya, for the charge. Monthly charge, total charge, oke ya. Okay, and then the last is demographic ya. Demographic it is about the gender, age, ranks. If they have partner, dependent, it mean that they have family, yeah, they have a child, and so on. Yeah. Okay. Miss Indah, it is any call? I want to apa? Angkat telepon dulu Mbak ya.
Okay, Pak.
Okay.
So we will take a break for 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oke, Mbak Indah, I'm sorry. Coba di mana tadi? Oh iya. Oke. You can ini ya. If you have a Kaggle ya, Kaggle account, you can go to Kaggle and then upload ya. Upload or import ya, import notebook. You can choose the file ya. And after that you just import it. Ya. How about the data? The data is I think the Kaggle have many data ya, many data. We can add here and just return ya, and then this is this is the data that we will use as experiment. We can add here until the data is being is being showed in this menu this menu. Okay, this data can also be download if you want to download. If you click the data, there the customer ID, female, and so on. I think that's all for the for the data. Okay. So nah, in this case we get that the data, ya, customer that want to churn, ya, it is imbalance, ya. Ya, maybe imbalance-nya 20%, ya, 20%. 20% balance, ya. We can see 28%, ya, percent churn. Okay, this is imbalance case. And we can see here, ya, this is the attribute, ya. And the what's the content, ya? What's the value for each attribute. This is customer ID, and we don't care about the customer ID. It is not important for the model, ya. It is just the uniqueness identifying, ya, uniqueness identity, ya. Okay, but we care about the gender, we care about senior citizen, partner, dependent, he has a family or not, how long the customer, how long the person being our customer, gitu, ya. Okay, is the customer sign up for phone service or not? How about the product for multiple lines? No phone service, no. What's the technology, ya, technology for internet service that he sign up, ya, DSL, fiber optic, no, online security, online backup, and so on, ya. Okay, okay. Now in this attribute, ya, we can see that it is aneh, ya, ini string, ya. Dia apa itu petik itu apa? It is some like a string, not an integer, ya. If we usually coding, we know that if we use like here, this is means that it is string, ya, not integer. So we can see in the type of the data. Okay, yeah, this is type of data. Integer and object. Object, it's mean that the data is being categorical, ya, in categorical format. But yeah, this is the for total change. This is object, yeah, because it is a string, yeah. So we need to preprocess those attribute, yeah. Okay, we preprocess that the total charge it is string, yeah. We want convert that attribute into numeric one, ya, into numeric. Okay, after this we print the value of total charge, and we get the data being integer format, ya. Okay, this is okay. We see the data types again. Okay, and we can check is there is a null, ya, in that attribute, ya. Okay, okay. This in total charge there are 11, ya. 11 data is null, ya, is null. Nah, we can use it, ya, missing value, ya, missing value imputation, ya. Method to fill, ya, fill the data, ya, to fill 11 data. We use the min, ya. Min is mean the average, ya, average of the total charge, and fill 11 data is filled by means, ya, means average from the total charge. Okay, and we we issue the checking is null again, ya. Okay, this is 0, ya. Okay, and we can yes, get the description of for each integer attribute, ya, only integer attribute. We can see how many the data, and then how mean, what is the standard deviation, how mean, quarterly percentage, and so on, ya. Okay, we can see for the distribution for each attribute. Yeah. We can see that the gender, there are no issue, yeah, no issue, because male and female get the same pattern for the gen, yeah. For the gen is same, yeah. There is no issue. I think senior citizen, I think there is no issue, yeah. Partner, now we can see that the gen, yes, yeah. If he get a partner, ya, get a partner, it is apa ya? Lebih cenderung itu apa ya? More more to be gen, ya, more to be gen, ya. Then if he has no partner, ya, if he has a partner, the kecenderungan, the probability of that customer being gen is more higher, ya. Okay, it also interdependent, ya. If the okay, independent, it is different, ya. For the dependent, if the customer has no dependent, yeah, has no family, has no wife, has no apa husband, yeah, the probability of getting chen is more higher, yeah. We can see this, yeah. This is the interesting pattern, I think. Okay, the dependent, if he no, yeah, no have dependent, yeah, the probability of cheng is higher, yeah. Okay. Now, how about tenor? Nah, I think it is the interest, yeah. We can see that the chen, yeah, the customer with chen is, yeah, is sent up for not more than 50, yeah, 50 days, yeah. I imagine that in Indonesia we we also usually buy a new apa ya, new number, ya, new number for why you buy a new number, because it is more cheaper, ya. It is cheaper and usually get the what's, ya, the internet quota is higher. Quota internet is more than if we being apa ya, old customer, ya. The new customer is usually get the more service, ya, more service than the old customer. So usually the student is also buy some new number for to get the benefit of the, especially in internet data, ya. Okay, so this is the real case, ya. Oh, about phone service, for the apa, no, ya, no phone service, ya. Usually yang chen, ya, yang chen is not send up for phone service and so on, ya. Oke, monthly charge. Oke. Kita lihat lagi. Oke, and then fitur, ya, fitur scaling and encoding. Where is fitur? Nah, why we need to fitur scaling, ya, normalization and encoding? Because apa namanya, the value for each attribute is in different range, ya, in different range. In here we can see that tenure is about, ya, 0 until 72, ya, but senior citizen is 0 and 1. Monthly charge from 18 until 118. So it is in a different range. Nah, due to different range, it can make the classifier is getting difficult to learn, and the accuracy become decrease, and the accuracy became decrease or getting worse, ya. So we need to take that the ring value for its numerical attributes is in the same scale. Yeah, we can use the min max or maybe standard, yeah, standard normalization. And how about categorical? Yeah, categorical here. Categorical, we can use what's the name? Yeah, encoding. Yeah, encoding. Encoding is transform its categorical attribute into numerical attribute. Like this attribute, yeah, multiple lines. We can see that after getting encoding, yeah, getting encoding, those attribute is become apa tadi multiple. Nah, this one ya, 1 0 2. Oke, I think that's all. Oke, terus and then classifier ya. Oke, classifier. Oke. This is the result of classifier. If you run the the code, ya, it's apa? I summarize in this slide, ya. It is same, ya. It is same with in here, but for the being simplicity for you, I just drop it into one slide, ya. Okay, we can see that without imbalance handling, yeah, the prediction, yeah, the prediction of Chen is only the 322, ya, only 322 from actual number 600, ya. Jadi it's about 62%, ya, 67%, ya. Akurasi 0.755, ya. Okay. Now after using imbalance, ya, we using smooth here. This is mode I show you. Nah, ini KNN, ya, KNN. And then this is without smooth, ya, without balancing. This is ROC, ya, ROC. And then we conduct smooth, ya. We sampling the extrain data, ya. Extrain data, we sampling those data. And we use the modeling again, yeah. We use KNN again, and this is the ROC, yeah. We can see that the line is higher than before, yeah. This is not higher, yeah. Okay. After that, okay, yeah. This is the result, yeah. After we conduct a smooth, yeah, smooth algorithm, the number of positive prediction is getting higher, ya, 469, or it's 21%, ya, 21% accuracy of recall, ya. Okay. It's mean that the imbalance method actually smooth, ya, in this case is he can increase the accuracy for the positive class until 71%, ya. Before we conduct a smooth oversampling, it just achieve only in 67, ya, 67. Okay, but this is any drawback, ya, any drawbacks for the precision, ya. We can see that before we conduct a smooth algorithm, the precision is about 80, 55, ya, 55. It decrease, ya, decrease until 45%, ya. The precision is getting decrease, ya. So it causes the F measure is getting worse, ya. But I think our focus, our objective here is to in recall, ya. because we can remember that if we false, yeah, we predict the negative class to be positive, ya. The negative class to be positive, it is okay. It's still okay, ya. It's still okay. Yeah, compare to if we predict the positive one to be no, ya, negative, it is danger. So I think in this case, the increasing value of recall is can be accepted, ya, can be accepted. Okay, this is the ROC, ya, ROC. Before we conduct an imbalance handling, and in the right side here after we using imbalance handling. Okay, there are any micro, ya, FF1 micro. It means that micro weights its sample equally. Okay, this is the example. Class 1 account for 40% of data. F1 for this class is 0.8. Class 2 account for 60% of data, ya. So the F1 micro, ya, F1 micro getting 0.44, ya. F1 macro, we don't consider about how person the data, ya, but only the harmonization, ya, between class, ya, and other class, ya, class 1 and class 2, and then divided to the average of F measure for 2 classes. But for F1 micro, we consider the number, the percentage of data, not only the accuracy of F measure, but also the percentage of the data. So it is an citation that if you are worried about class imbalance, I suggest you to use macro, ya. Terus macro tadi. If we worried, ya, if we are not worried, ya, we can use the macro. I think that's all, Mbak Indah. Maybe we can.
Okay.
Yes, okay, Mbak Indah, monggo, Mbak.
Okay, so participant, if you have a question for Pak Tora, you can raise your hand, or also you can type it on the chat box. Is there any question from you, from the students? Okay, so far no question. Is there anything you want to ask to the student, Pak Tora? We were waiting for the question from the students, the participants.
Okay. I think that's all, ya.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so is there any? Oh, we have one from
attendance.
attendance. I thought it was the question. Okay, I will share the attendance link for today. Wait a minute. So Pak Tora, maybe if the student want to ask you something, if there are any further question, can you please type your email address in the chat box so the student maybe can discuss directly with you through email?
Yes, Mr. Indah.
Yes.
I think the student can also ask a question in classroom, ya?
In the Google Classroom. Okay.
In the Google Classroom, ya.
Right. Okay. So after this, Pak Tora will share and upload the material in the Google Classroom. If you have a question, you can also ask in the Google Classroom or through his email, torapahrudin@telkomuniversity.ic.id. Okay, I have shared the feedback link on the chat box is also considered as your attendance list for today's meeting, today's class. If we don't have a question and if you don't have another thing to discuss with the student, maybe we can close the class. But before that, I will ask the student to please switch on your camera and we will have take a photo together. Okay, participant, would you please turn on your camera? Is there anyone in this class? So, okay.
Only Miss Indah and me, ya.
Yes, so no one is turn on the camera. So is there anyone in this class? Okay,
Oh,
thank you,
Miss
Asniar.
Asniar, thank you.
Yopi and other one.
Thank you, Yopi.
So, okay. Okay. Pak Tora, I think we can take a picture. Okay, Kurnia, you can turn on your camera. Thank you. Okay, I will take the picture on 1, 2, 3 and smile. So thank you very much, everyone. We will meet you again on Monday, 28th of March for the evaluation meeting 8 and meeting 9, which is privacy data studies and also data imbalance case studies. So we will share the evaluation in the Google Classroom, and you can continue to do the evaluation in the Google Classroom. So thank you, everyone. Good afternoon and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Tora.
Waalaikumsalam. You're welcome, Miss Indah.